morning and welcome to the Tuesday Morning Show where ASI's most outspoken editors talk promo products. I'm Andy Cohen, editor of ASI's Counselor Magazine, and we have a great show planned for you here today. We're going to be talking about effective selling tips on the show today. So if you have any questions or comments about the best tip that you've ever received to close sales or to get new prospects, give us a ring today at 215-953-4979. Kathy Houston, how are you today?
I'm hungry.
Okay.
I really am.
It's a unique response.
Yes.
There's cookies over by Barbara. Rob Watson made cookies.
Those are like day old now, though.
Yeah, but they were wrapped. They were
Okay.
All right.
really
They were
good.
wrapped.
All right. Good
So-
to know.
Chocolate chip cookies.
We'll know where Kathy will be right after the show.
Hoovering down some cookies.
Anything, any crumbs that are left on the plate, Kathy will have. Michelle, how are you?
I'm great.
Good?
I'm good, yeah.
Excellent. You caught up on all your TV? I know that you
No, my
missed some
DVR is full.
things
I'm
and-
behind on my Boardwalk Empire and my Blacklist and
and something
one
else
other
you
one.
can't even think of the name of.
Game of Thrones?
no. That's not in production right now.
I don't know.
Winter
Although
is
she
coming, Kath.
wishes
Winter is
it
coming.
was.
True Blood?
Wow, so if anybody has
No.
some spoiler
Really?
alerts, don't
No.
bring them our way.
Hannah
I guess.
Montana.
Hannah Montana.
That's so Raven.
Oh my God, we need to move on. Joe Haley,
Yo.
how are you?
I'm terrific, Andy.
Anything on your DVR that you need to catch up on?
He doesn't have a DVR.
Oh, shut up. You do too. No, but we have.
He does, right?
We do
He
have.
didn't have cable for years and years.
Oh, that's such a lie.
Wow.
That's
You
such
just, your
We're
voice
not
just
having a real
went
show
up
today.
like 3
I've
octaves.
always had cable.
I've always had cable.
Full cable, like HBO cable?
No, the
Well,
premium
I don't have
channels-
HBO. I don't have
yeah,
HBO.
Premium channels are pointless.
I
They're
agree.
pointless.
I actually agree. You
Nope.
can get it all on
You
Netflix
guys are wrong.
anyway.
Yeah, because I need to turn it on to see The Breakfast Club. You know, it's like I've never seen that.
Do you use
How many
Netflix?
years ago. Huh?
Do you use Netflix?
No, I don't. Perhaps I don't watch that much television.
Do you have an ATM card?
I do not have an ATM card.
Really?
Well, but
I
you
don't.
don't, right?
Of course I do.
Oh, you do? No, it's
Yeah.
the Easy Pass that you never had.
I have one.
You
now.
have one
Oh,
now.
yeah. Who
Yeah.
bought it for you?
My mother.
Mommy. Mommy bought it. Mommy bought it. But ask her why she doesn't want one.
I
though.
know why, but let's make Michelle say why she would not like an Easy Pass.
Because the government can track you that way.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a tracking device.
It's a tracking device.
Michelle Bell concerned about it being a tracking device. Meanwhile, she's got pictures up on the internet about everything
Do
she
you
does.
people not watch Law and Order? That's how they catch everybody.
No. I actually showed her an article once. I showed her an article that says that they more easily find you from your BlackBerry and your cell phone than from your Easy Pass.
Right,
That's
they
not
know
true.
everywhere
Oh, let's
you
face
go.
it.
That
by
Big
doesn't
the-
Brother
even
is
have to be
watching,
like
no matter what.
She doesn't have to be using it. It just has to be turned
Look,
on.
at some
It's
point I'm going to be
stinging
on the
your tail.
lam. Are we all in agreement for that? And that's how they're going to find me, from the Easy Pass.
That's actually a good point. And here's what I suggest. When you are on the lam, turn the BlackBerry off because they'll get you that way too.
But she can text so fast with it with one hand, with punctuation mark and capitalization.
It's true.
Are we ever going to start this
Okay,
thing?
so besides Michelle's DVR and her hatred of Easy Pass, Joe, what else is on to the tap for today's show?
All right, as you said, Andy, give us a call in and tell us what your best sales tip is. If you have the best answer today, we will give you a $25 Visa gift card along with the radio prize pack. We also have bad things that happen when leaders avoid conflict. We have apps every entrepreneur needs, why good employees quit, why you should be training your clients. We have a couple other topics, and we have our favorite things. But let's start this with the industry news in 60 seconds. And
All right, thank you, Joe. We begin this morning with top 40 supplier news. Alpha Broder announced last week that it has completed its acquisition of Ash City, which it originally purchased in January. Customers across the U.S. can now shop online at Alpha Broder's website for all Ash City private label brands. More top 40 supplier news now. Polyconcept North America announced last week that it has launched a new website. The new site includes a marketplace tool that will allow distributors to view and purchase products from PCNA partner suppliers. The first partner in the program is Chocolate Inn, Taylor & Grant. Top 40 distributor news now. In its second transition with a multi-million-dollar distributor within the past few weeks, Proforma announced that Ryan Andrews, president of Richmond, Virginia-based Venture Marketing, has joined its member network. Andrews, who previously was affiliated with Boundless Network, will now operate his company as the branding agency powered by Proforma. General economic news now. Consumer sentiment reached its highest point in 7 years this month, according to a new survey from Thomson Reuters and the University of Michigan. The Consumer Sentiment Index in October jumped to 86.4, which was the highest recording since July 2007. The result easily surpassed analysts' expectations. And finally, make sure to check out the latest episode of The Joe Show and Promogram today. Joe, what is hot for today?
Oh, Andy, I got this multi-use cell phone product. It's pretty cool. Amplifies your music.
Okay, that's one.
It
one
serves
use.
as a stand.
That's a second use.
It's a protective cover.
Third. Anything
That's
else?
it.
That's
Triple
it?
threat.
Just 3 uses?
Watch the Joe Show to find out what else.
Check out the Joe Show and so much more in Counselor Program today. All right, before we head to our calls to have our call-in topic of the day, which is what is the best-selling tip you've ever received, we're going to have our product safety minute with Leighton Lee. Leighton, how are you today?
Doing well, folks. It's been interesting listening to the opening of the show, all about TVs and tracking devices and stuff. I thought it was very humorous.
Yes, we
Went off the rails.
Who's the crazy one?
we have a unique agenda here today.
It's a little blend of NCIS and a few other things. But anyways, today's product safety minute today is all about children's product tracking labels. Excuse me. Now that the holidays are upon us and a lot of orders are starting to come in, a lot of those orders are going to be for children's programs. And we all, in our industry, distributors and suppliers, need to be keenly aware that any item that is intended for children 12 years and under, any product that is primarily intended for children 12 years and under, must be safe for children, because it is a children's product, and must contain a children's product tracking label. So that is a CPSIA requirement. It's federal law. And why do we have a tracking label for children's product? Mainly so that that item, in case it injures or kills somebody, God forbid, that product will have a unique label on it that can be used to track that item during a product safety recall. So it's a law, it's helpful, it's useful to get product off the streets without affecting other products that are similar in appearance or otherwise by other characteristics. So who is responsible for applying the tracking label? Typically it's a supplier or the decorator. But the distributor needs to play a role in this and advise their supplier vendors that this is a children's program. It's going to go to kids. So the supplier knows that a tracking label needs to be applied. The best time to do this is as early as possible so that everybody is in the loop, so that there's no delay or having to make remakes in case a tracking label is forgotten. And how is the tracking label applied? As permanently as possible. No stickers, no labels are allowed. It must be on the item and must be permanently printed on packaging if the consumer is going to get that packaging. So that is a very, very quick summary of children's product tracking labels, and I wish all of you have a great day. And one last note, tracking using cell phones and stuff for tracking. Don't go rob banks and leave your cell phone on the counter of the bank, because they'll find you.
I would do that.
That's very solid advice from our friend Leighton Lee. All right, Leighton, thanks very much for giving us a ring this morning.
Bye-bye.
Speaking of children's products, did anyone see this in the news the other day that Toys R Us is selling
Yes.
a Walter White action figure
With a bag of crystal
a
meth.
bag of meth and a bag of cash as the accessories.
Yes.
And there is an outcry. There's a woman who has started a
Well,
petition
yeah, there's
just
an
saying
outcry.
that, she doesn't think the product's wrong. It's just, you shouldn't be selling it at Toys R Us.
Is that what you're getting, Jason, for Christmas and Hanukkah?
I might just have to.
I think I want to go get one of those things just before it's, put off the shelf and be like, the nerds and keep
They have
it in the
Jessie, too.
packaging.
They have a Jessie doll.
Oh, you can
Does
have
he
your own
have
dollies.
Does he have a bag of
I would-
meth
I
too?
would George
I
W.
I
Bush
think
doll.
only Walter
Of
does.
course.
I mean, that's a little odd.
I know, isn't it?
Wow.
Well, they're trying to appeal to adults now, and there's a lot of nerdy people that collect action figures
Or dollies, as
or
we call them.
dollies. Yes,
Wow, nerdy people, huh?
nerdy people.
All right.
As we look at Michelle.
Interesting. All right, we're getting ready to take your calls this morning, and we're going to talk about the most effective selling tip that you've ever learned. So if you have any questions or comments about that, give us a ring at 215-953-4979. And on line 2 already, we have Stanley. Stanley, how are you this morning?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. What's the best selling tip that you ever received?
Well, it was a combination. My grandfather told me years and years ago that the customer's always right, but he also said that's only when you're standing in front of the customer. That when the customer is not there, you have to choose and decide what's best for the company and the customer. And so recently, I was asking my customers, because you've got this whole new age of people, that you're dealing with, and I decided to ask my customers, what is it that makes me a better person for you? And one of my clients told me, I want to see samples, I want to see pictures, but I want to see, I want fast results. So what we started doing is relentlessly ordering samples for our clients immediately after showing the pictures, letting them know that they're coming, and the results have really been really, really good. They're turning into more orders.
That's interesting. So now, going back to the tip, when is the customer wrong?
The customer is wrong a lot of times. You just can't tell them. I just had it happen yesterday. A customer told me he needed to get the price approved for the job on Friday. And yesterday, when we talked, he goes, "So you did order the products on Friday, right?" I said, "Well, you haven't approved the price from your boss," you said. "Well, we wanted them." "Well, I can't order things if you're telling me you have to get it approved. How would I order 350 shirts if you're telling me it's not approved yet, but you..." What happened was he told his boss that he was on it and that he did it, and then he tried to put it on me. So I looked at him, I said, "Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to order them tomorrow, Tuesday morning, but your account for shipping is going to have to expedite the shipping for 2-day air, and this way you can look like a hero, and we can make it happen for you."
Good. That's smart.
There you go.
Stanley to the rescue. Stanley was actually
So the
here.
customer was wrong, but you had a solution to solve the problem.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, you gotta offer a solution, because I believe that even when the customer is wrong, there's an old quote from the Vietnam War. I loved it. It said, "War doesn't prove who's right, only who's left." And it's the same way in arguments. You can be right, but you'll be standing there alone without customers.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's, so yeah, solutions, I think solutions, that's a good point. Solutions are very important.
All right, cool. Thank you. Thanks, Stanley, for the call, and have a good rest of your week. Michelle, we had some comments on our Facebook page regarding this topic. What did people have to say?
Yes. Are we also going to go around the table and come up with our own?
Yeah, I have one.
Me too.
Okay.
See, the boys are not prepared.
The boys are like,
Duh. What do we do? What do we do?
I'll host and call on the rest
the
of you.
federalities are outside.
All right, there,
So-
Easy Pass. We're going to call you Easy Pass from now on.
That's what all the boys call her.
I was going to leave that there. I was going to leave that there, Kathy.
I had to say it.
So Ryan Shad says, ABP, always be prospecting. You can't ABC, always be closing if your pipeline is empty.
Was he watching Sesame Street?
Oh, Ryan.
I think that Don Sanders would agree with him. Don Sanders is very big on the cold calling, which
Yes.
is also known as prospecting. It's not as scary when you call it prospecting, but you have to. You always have to be looking for new business.
He is good at that. I told you I sat in his session in Chicago, and he's, like you said, every place he goes, he keeps cards, he keeps little calendars with him, magnets, everything, so he can always give something out.
That's great.
Laurie O'Shea from Motivator says, don't overpromise and underdeliver. People would prefer an honest answer over not getting what they anticipated. Danielle Lum says, listen to the words they're not saying to get to the source of the problem they need assistance with. So basically, you got to read between the lines. Perhaps
Listen
ask
to
more
the
questions.
words they're not saying.
Yeah.
I need pens. Okay, so I'm going to order you shirts.
I like the sentiment of that.
Yeah.
I think it's a
I
little
think
bit difficult.
she's
I get it.
looking
though.
at subtext.
Right.
Yeah.
We're not big on subtext here.
In other words, they don't need the pens. They need a solution to their marketing problem. Listen to what the problem is.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, look at
Quite
you.
Look at Joe analyzing the situation like a pro.
Joe Robertson says, ask people about themselves and what they do. They almost always reciprocate and return the question, opening the door for a mini infomercial and an opportunity to sow the seeds.
I like that
I like
one.
that. See,
yeah,
if
that's
I was
good.
if I was giving the best sales tip I ever heard, I actually am prepared, so I can talk about it.
Oh.
It would be along those lines. It would be to shut up, stop talking, and listen a whole lot more. So ask questions, but then just let them speak.
Yeah,
and
it'll
let them
turn around like you said, right?
Yeah, let them give you information that you might not otherwise have if you didn't if you were talking too much. Like I am right now.
And Eric Campbell says you have to out-care the other guy. Gary V knew early on. Who's Gary V?
Gary?
I don't know. Gary V knew really early
It's like
on.
a SAT question.
If Gary V went 10, Gary V knew really early on that you have to be sincere and really take an interest in people to make loyal customers. You have to take the risk to actually care, invest yourself, and really listen.
Who wrote that in?
Eric Campbell.
Eric,
All right,
tell us who
Eric, if
Gary
you're
V
listening,
is.
Who's Gary
If
V?
you're listening, call us or write in and let us know who Gary V is because we're a little bit at a loss. So let us know. But those are all good tips.
Who's that?
And we
Ray
have,
McKee.
we
Oh,
have
I like
another one on line 1 from Ray.
He's gonna be crazy.
Crazy Ray.
Yeah.
We've
gonna
got
be
a
happy.
warning
Cheery.
that Ray is going to be crazy. Ray, how are you today?
Well, good morning to one and all, and how are you doing this morning?
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm doing fine. I had called to commend you all for a wonderful program, but after this morning's opening, I was wondering.
We're wondering too.
been
They
You
might
blame
cancel
Michelle,
us.
Right? You blame Michelle.
It's been an interesting 15 minutes to say the least, right? So, Ray, what is the
Well,
best sales tip you ever received?
The best sales tip, real simple, is build your network nests. I can't overemphasize that. I mean, rather than me going out and knocking on doors and say, you want to buy, you want to buy, you want to buy, what I do is just simply go to my local printers or my local rubber stamp makers and knock on their doors and give them a dozen donuts. I just did it this morning at 7:30, went to a printer. They had sent me several referrals that have been very, very profitable. So I've got a nest of people that are talking about my company and referring me to others. And so now I'm going out and trying to find as many printers, sign companies. They're not going to do the promotional products, but they can see a win-win situation between what we offer and what they offer.
I like it. Yeah, and we had another tip about building your prospect base as well, and I think that's the theme here is to never stop prospecting and knowing that you have new people to call on.
Oh, and I also want to go on record to say your program. I love the new website page,
All right.
the updated page. I love the fact that now I'm able to hear you talk and your lips are in sync with what you're
We're
saying.
not like Clutch Cargo anymore.
You
Not
know
like
what?
you're on an acid trip.
Okay,
And not
Kathy.
only that, but the Advantages magazine, it's just getting better and better.
Oh,
Everything
thank
about
you.
ASI is just getting so much better, and as many other distributors, this is really, it's helping me. It really shows me the level of professionalism that you all exude and what we're trying to emulate on this end. So thank you so very much for all that you guys do.
Well,
Ray,
thank you.
nice, Ray.
Right.
Ray, you win Call of the Week.
He's our favorite caller ever of all time.
Ray, thanks very much for the call and the compliments. We appreciate it. Have a good day.
Who's the business author who wrote Stark Raving Fans?
I don't know.
You interviewed him here.
I did.
Yes. In the
Then-
cafeteria.
then
Do you want me to Google it on the
now
internet?
I'm embarrassed.
Do you want me to Google it on the internet
Yeah,
with my BlackBerry?
do that. He talks about having your customers also be your Stark Raving Fans, advocates for you, and will help with your referral.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my sales tip. I wrote down to really mind your current clients because they have contacts right within their own organizations that they could refer you to.
Right.
Well,
So-
see,
Ken Blanchard?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Ken
We did
Blanchard.
interview him.
Mine's the same thing. Mind your clients. But I go back to years ago. I wrote an article about clients, how clients see distributors, and I talked to some people, and I talked to this little mom and pop shop that rented, movies. They don't have them anymore. But he says someone comes in once a year and says, "Do you need more pens?"
Mhm.
And that's it, and leaves. And he might be able to help that client a little better and
Sure.
actually have a, if you do more than just that, pop in, do you need pens? Because right now he's just the pen guy. So mind your clients, find out what their needs are, how you can help them with your business.
Mine. It's M-I-N-E.
Mine.
Mine's mind. I'm saying mind. Mind your
Do you
Mind
say,
your-
you say supposedly
Mind.
too?
supposedly.
So
somebody
Hey,
get Joe
hey.
a dictionary. Okay, Michelle.
Yes, I
What
have
is
mine.
your sales tip?
And can
Okay.
you do it in Madagascar?
So, who here has seen Miracle on 34th Street?
Of everybody.
Okay. Well, no, not everybody. Some
No?
people haven't seen things like It's a Wonderful Life and movies
Oh.
like that.
I've seen those things.
Okay, so there's the famous scene where Santa Claus, somebody comes in and asks for a toy and they don't have it at, I believe, Macy's. And Santa sends them to Gimbel's.
Gimbel's.
And consequently, Macy's does a ton more business because the people were like, wow, that's really awesome that this company sent us to a competitor just to make sure that we got our product. And I love the theme of that. I know companies in this industry who, when they don't have something, they will send them to a competitor. And it invariably always helps the company that, is magnanimous enough to do that and send them to a
Right.
competitor. So
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And
That's very good.
I mean, partner with competitors that do things that you might not do, or that have avenues to clients that you might not have.
And like Ray was saying, he goes to printers and they refer him, and I guess
Right.
he refers them too. So
Ray's
it's like a business partnership.
Ray's obviously tight with the donut guy in town too.
Yeah.
Obviously.
is
Sounds
Ray
like-
Star Spangled Specialties?
yeah.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
All right, Ray. And he loves advantages.
I know.
Just
That's
loves
why we
Kathy.
love Ray.
All right. Okay, we're going to pause to hear from our show sponsor, ASI Education. But when we get back, we're going to talk about the bad things that happen when leaders avoid conflict.
At ASI, we know that education is the key to success, so we're excited to announce our newly reimagined online learning center. Log in and test the all-new intuitive interface. Share photos, stories, and communicate with other ASI members who are learning along with you. Expand your knowledge with wikis, discussion boards, and more than 350 courses, which include valuable marketing and sales information. And for your convenience, the Online Learning Center now uses a single sign-on access like your other ASI services. Best of all, it's free. Become an industry expert and see what's new on the ASI Online Learning Center at www.asicentral.com/online-learning.
All right, welcome back to the Tuesday morning show, where we've been talking about sales tips and the most effective sales tip, or the best sales tip that you've ever received. If you have any that you'd like to share with us, you can still give us a call at 215-953-4979. In the meantime, Kathy, what are some bad things that happen when leaders avoid conflict?
This is me. I
This
avoid
is
conflict
you.
at all
right.
costs.
So let's look in the mirror here
All right.
and see what happens.
I know. I'm aware. All right. First of all, communications become strained, Andy.
Yes.
Right? A
Yes.
conflict that goes unresolved will only fester and cause communication breakdowns
Right.
to develop within the team.
Seen
and
it
then,
happen.
As a result,
Been a part of it.
teamwork diminishes. Cooperation and teamwork will lessen, and animosity will build. Productivity suffers, obviously. You just get more done when you work together, so keep those communication lines open. And the customer experience is compromised. Nobody wants that because that's obviously bad for business. And perhaps the worst thing is the best and brightest leave. Those that can will move on to greener pastures when their current work environment becomes unbearable.
Sure.
So what can you do to become better at addressing conflict? Develop and communicate your vision. Just be clear about what you expect from your team. Set expectations, again, be clear about those, and monitor progress by actively checking behavior and monitoring results. Any needed intervention can be provided earlier, thus preventing all the animosity later on.
Now, are you listening to these?
I am.
tips?
Do it now. Many of us, Kathy, tend to put off doing things we prefer not to do, but don't do that because, as I said before, it will only fester and everybody's going to get aggravated.
Right.
And bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You sound like
On
that
that
Long,
note-
Long Island medium lady.
Do I?
Yeah.
Teresa
Yeah.
Caputo? I'm Teresa Caputo, and I talk to dead people.
Oh
I
my
watch it.
God.
I love it.
She was just in Philadelphia last week at Temple
What just
University.
happened here?
Kathy and I took a nasty left turn with the show.
We're gonna bring it back here, Joe. Joe,
Andy.
apps that every entrepreneur needs.
Yup, we got 10. I'm only going to give
What
you a handful.
are some of those?
One of them is called Win Streak.
All right,
okay?
Win Streak.
Win Streak. So you're focused on growth and productivity, so you get this free app. And what you do is you pinpoint 3 wins for the day. Not necessarily a to-do list, but 3 wins. 3 things you want to accomplish in that day.
Okay.
And then you set one for the next day, okay? And they're right there for you.
So it's like a goal-setting app.
A goal-setting app, right. It's
Okay.
going to help you stay on track.
I like that.
Trip it.
Trip
Trip
it.
it.
For
All right.
business trips?
Trip it. It's for business trips. If you travel
It's
a lot.
disappointing. I thought it was something else.
That's tripping.
Oh, here come the federales.
Turn,
She's going on a
throw
lamb.
the easy pass out the window. What is Trip It?
Trip it. It helps you organize your itinerary. All you do is you send it via email, and then this app's going to organize everything for you. So you just go to your smartphone, boom, when your flight is, when you need to be out of there, where your hotel is, stuff. You don't have to go through email. You don't have to. You just open up your app, and it's right there.
Okay.
Focus at will, and the at is the at sign, and it says productivity can be very challenging even for A-type personalities when starting their own business. With this app, special music is used to bolster your productivity, and they say
What?
yeah. So you put this on, it's supposed to help you bolster. Well, she listens to music for
Oh,
a
yeah, I
variety
do.
of different things.
I listen to Pandora.
No, my snicker was at Andy's reaction to that.
I mean, come on.
It's a little too hippy-dippy
It
for him,
is.
I think.
Yeah.
But they say there is
Stop.
science behind it, but it's too new to know if it really works or if it's just the placebo effect. But they say,
It works.
what difference does it make? If it's working, it's working.
I listened to your song yesterday that you tweeted about.
I love that song.
Okay, everyone knows Square.
Can we have something better than that?
Everyone knows Square Register, right?
No.
That's when you get in the taxi cabs
Yeah.
and you want to pay by credit card. They put that little device.
Square
there.
is a brilliant device.
It is a brilliant device. If you don't
I
have
love
it, you
that.
got to get it.
Yeah.
The app reader's free. I mean, the card
Oh,
reader's
so
free.
Square is what you're.
Yes.
I thought you were going to compare
No,
it to
no, no.
something else. Okay.
Card reader's free.
Yeah.
The app is free. You just have to pay 2.7% fee for processing with every transaction. And then there's one that's called Pocket Analytics.
All right.
It sounds too
Pocket Analytics.
Kathy doesn't like that
analytical.
one.
So you know about
I didn't like the whole music one. Kathy doesn't like that one.
Google Analytics, Facebook Insights, all that stuff to see how you're doing out there in the social media realm and on online stuff. And instead of having to go to all those things, it puts it all into one, so you can pop open your smartphone when you're riding the subway
right.
in New York City going to
I
an
like that
appointment
one.
to see how you're doing. But there's 10 of them. I gave you 5. We'll put this article online at asicentral.com/radio, and you can see what's going to be good for you.
All right, check that out on our website. Now, Michelle, we were
Yep.
talking, Kathy was talking just a little while ago about employees leaving when leaders avoid conflict. What are some other reasons that good employees quit their jobs?
Yep, there are 4 here. I'm going to go, I'll just mention 2 of them because we're short on time. But weirdly, or ironically, one of them has to do with management. So the first one is a poor reward system. It's not always about having a big paycheck, although that doesn't hurt. Rewarding an employee can be shown in many ways, such as a corporate recognition both internally and externally, an additional paid mini vacation, the opportunity to take the lead on a new project, a promotion, or a donation in the employee's name to a charity that they support. While these represent some of the ways an employer can reward workers, it really doesn't work without one key element: communication. You need to find out what the employee wants, what really works to them, what speaks to them as far as being rewarded. And some people it's not money. Some
So
people it's
ultimately,
recognition.
if good employees' intrinsic motivations are not met,
Correct.
then they might be apt to
And
leave.
the manager needs to take the time and be interested enough
Right.
to find out what that is for each individual employee.
Sure.
And the second point, which speaks to what Kathy talked about, is management. You know the saying, people don't leave companies, they leave their managers. And this author says he thinks that there's truth to that, as do I, by the way. When there's work to be done, it's management's duty to enforce, engage, and oftentimes implement the reward system. When good workers see people who do not contribute as much as them get promoted or get recognition, it's like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And this all begins and ends with the managers. It's their job to really kind of make sure that the employees who are performing at a high level get the recognition that they're due. Otherwise, good employees will leave.
And I think employees also want to know that the manager, like you were getting at, has skin in the game with them. They're working hard, they're doing their job, they're doing what the company
It's critical. It's critical.
is expecting of them. And if they don't feel like somebody's in it with them and has their back and really, is essentially doing the job as well, then that's when people start to say,
Well, and it starts
"What
a
am I doing
domino
here?"
effect of,
Totally.
being demoralized, bad morale, people wanting to leave. People not being as productive as they should be, a cohesive nature of a department falling apart,
Right.
things like that.
Very good. All right. Check out those tips online at our website at asicentral.com/radio. Now we have just enough time for Michelle's favorite segment of the week, which is our favorite thing. So, Michelle, why don't you lead us off?
Mine is from Sweda, ASI 90305. It's so cute. It's this little red lipstick USB drive. It's adorable.
Oh,
It's brand
cute.
new from them. Yep.
Nice.
that.
Very cool. All right, Kathy, what do you have?
Well, my favorite is one that you picked, Andy.
Oh,
Yes. And it is apparently a unique slip-on mustache that goes on your drink. Is that right? It's a fun conversation starter, according to you, for promoting beverage makers, restaurants, or fundraisers. And don't forget about Movember coming up.
that's why I chose it, Kathy.
Right? It's available from Beardo, ASI 39352.
All right there, Beardo. Joe, what do you have?
They're called backup soles. They roll up. It's a little slipper you put on your feet when you're out all night, dancing and partying.
Like
in your
Easy Pass.
Like Easy Pass over here. And your stiletto heels, Andy, they come in their own little carrying pouch. You put these in your pouch. You also get a bag for your heels. So, Andy, when you're done, you're at the end of the
With
night.
your heels.
With his stilettos
With
or
your
hurting his
heels,
feet.
Yeah.
You put your heels in your bag. You pull out your backup soles. You put them on, and sweet relief.
That would be a great, you know what? That would be a great gift for wedding guests. The female wedding
You
guests.
know who it's good for? You should read my thing. It's good for proms, the bridal industry. Also good for end-of-year celebrations. You know, big, what do you call that? New Year's Eve party?
You call that?
We call that when we go from one year
Call
to the
that
next.
little holiday.
Anyway, you can get them from Backup Souls, ASI 37681. Find them online at www.backupsouls. And souls is spelled like the soles of a shoe, not the soul, the intrinsic thing that you lack, Andy.
Okay. All right. Well, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, we are out of time for the show today. But thanks for listening. Thanks to our show sponsor, ASI Education. And if nothing else, we've learned a new nickname for Michelle. Thank you all for listening. Have a great week, everybody.